it's ever seen.
Top Gun, highest grossing opening weekend in movie history. $160 million at the box office, 4,700 different movie screens. Chris Fenton, author, Feeding the Dragon Inside the Trillion-Dollar Dilemma Facing Hollywood, the NBA, and American Business. Chris, good to see you. Shocking news, I guess. Movies filled with testosterone and American exceptionalism do well.
Well, what's even crazier is that it's just across the 300 million globally box office number, which is unbelievable when you consider sort of how pro-America it is at its core.
All right, so you think about this. Oscar nominees from last year for Best Picture, first weekend sales. In the United States, Top Gun did more than every one of the 2022 Best Picture nominees combined. Is this proof that America wants Top Gun and not a violinist with three moms, number one? And number two, does Hollywood learn from this?
Well, unfortunately, I think you're partially right. I mean, that's why we see so many sequels and franchises in part 7 or part 8 of their prolonged, essentially, life cycle out there, because people want pre-existing IP that's been proven and see new versions of that. In the sense of Top Gun, it's a fantastic large budget movie. It's a reboot of something that was done many, many years ago. And quite frankly, it's a fantastic movie. It's rating off the charts, and even on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's roughly a 97, which I've never seen before.
So, but are we seeing this change all of a sudden, culturally shifting back of what the American consumer wants? Now it's Yellowstone. Now it's the prequel of Yellowstone. These TV shows about all the things that Hollywood hates doing really well?
Well, a lot of it had to do with the commercialism of the international marketplace, right? There was a lot of inherently American principled values, stories and plot lines and characters that were done through the last many decades. But once the international market started to pick up and became roughly 70% of overall box office grosses, there was more of a vanilla-ized or an Olive Garden version of the Italian food done to placate all these different markets. And as one of the subjects we want to talk about, China came into play, then we really saw this stuff that was very patriotic at its core, or really revolving around American values and principles, sort of disappear in place, taken into the China market, where they really wanted to see things that didn't exemplify Western dominance.
Which we did not plan, but leads us perfectly into the discussion about China's authority and influence in American movies. There was so much made about Tom Cruise's jacket initially that in the sequel, his jacket was not going to have the Japanese patch on it or the Taiwanese patch on it that Maverick back in the original Top Gun had. Now it comes out and he does have it on his jacket. Was that a decision that no one really knew was going to happen? Is that something people were reading too much into, or was there a decision made by the studios to hand it to the Chinese?
Well, it's an interesting question. I mean, there's premeditated censorship where a lot of stories are just actually killed before they even get to the script phase because they seem like they might be too sensitive for China. Then you have the movies like Behind Me, where you have Looper or Iron Man 3, where China's brand integrated into the plot to create more relevancy to that market and also more wind to the back in regards to Chinese Communist Party support for the films. In the case of Tom Cruise and Top Gun, there was actually a very sensitive flag, the Taiwanese flag, along with the Japanese flag on the back of that jacket, which Tencent, one of the original financiers, which is a Chinese company, said, hey, that's sensitive. We need to remove that. And when Paramount and Tom Cruise stood up to that, Tencent backed out of financing that movie. And here we are at $300 million later without the China market involved. I think it's a fantastic case study in what we can do by protecting freedom of creativity, which is something that Hollywood is supposed to stand for.
Supposed to stand for is the operative words. And one, you wonder if they learned the lesson, because as you point out, they'd kowtowed for the dollar before, or the yuan. Hey, Chris, I wish we had more time to chat about this, but when it passes $1 billion, I'm sure we'll be still talking about it.
Well, look, doing the right thing and capitalism can coexist, and I think this is a perfect case study. Thanks for having me on.
No, thank you. Such an important topic. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.